Today, we're revisiting the shocking story of the Zulock couple, who are back in the headlines after being sentenced to 100 years in prison without parole for their disturbing crimes. Not only was it ignored by mainstream outlets, but content creators like myself were shadowbanned just for talking about it. Now, with their sentencing finally getting some attention, it's clear that the truth can't be hidden forever. The following is a live stream of me and my brother from 2023 when we first heard about this case. And as you can see, it was very suppressed. I'm hoping that in the future, important stories like this will not get pushed under the rug, and we can start having some of the difficult but necessary conversations of where to go from here when it comes to child safety and integrity in the media. I've highlighted some key details of this case, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to bring these stories to light and fight for justice. I am Ellie. This is my brother, Zachary. This is extremely heavy subject matter. This happened in Atlanta. These two men have been convicted of selling explicit videos and photos of their two adopted sons, which is horrible, absolutely deplorable. You know, we can't really read it all verbatim to you guys. They are a married couple. The two boys in question were special needs children. So it was state funded. They got state funding not only for the adoption of the boys, but also extra state funding because the boys were special needs. I think something that really gets me is how much they kind of piggybacked on people trying to be accepting of the LGBT community. They unabashedly would guilt trip anyone who would be suspicious of their activity. They promoted themselves as activists, going to pride parades, taking pictures with people, look, no hate, like every single stereotype of like trying to be a positive influence in the LGBT movement. They used that to their advantage, and they paraded the very same boys they were in front of everyone and just posting about it on social media.
So they lived in a pretty small place, but after they adopted these boys, within record time, literally record time, they built a mansion that was worth around $1 million.
Mansion was really suspicious. Specifically built rooms that you got through with secret doors.
Yeah. They had this mansion built really quickly. Who knows where the money came from?
He self-reported $30K a month, apparently.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this $1 million house is built. But as you can read in the article, and I have to be very vague about this, they had adopted both the boys from the foster system. They were both getting $2,000 a month and assistance from DFACS. And what they'd done is they started putting them through brutal punishments. For example, one of the relatives that kind of was a whistleblower on all this said that at one point they had one of the boys stand in the corner for 8 hours straight for doing something wrong. And another one, they were slapping the boy in the face over and over and over and over again. A guy gave a tip to the FBI or ICAC or something like that there was illicit acts with children going on in that house. Through some sleuthing and detective work and some warrants, they got access to Snapchat and some other accounts and found that the two men had been selling the boys, not just pictures of them doing things to them violently and graphically, but also had been selling them to other people in the community. They found a Twitter account that one of them was using that was just all contacts.
But didn't they meet up with someone in Chicago named Gay Bottom?
That Bottom was his account that he was using to contact other people.
Okay, so yeah, they would meet up with people in real life with the boys.
Here's another thing for some of you more rabbit hole types out there.
Oh, yeah.
They went to a restaurant in Gulf Shore, Alabama, a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
A pizza shop.
This was at a pizza restaurant that they went with the kids that they were abused. Okay. They made it rainbow and they circled it. Hashtag pizza. Why else would they do this unless they're just literally trying to say, we know that you guys know, but there's nothing you can do about it.
I can't rationalize it, but I'm glad that I can't rationalize it because I'm not sick.
I personally have had experience with fans of the playground in my life, and he was brash and didn't care because he thought he would never get caught. That's how these people are. They're such horrible, psychopathic, sociopathic, evil people that they will do whatever they want to do with no regard for even covering their own tracks. But they said the right things, and it was able to hide all of their horrible debauchery.
One of the things that Zulock posted on one of his social media accounts was a picture of a turtle, and it was like hiding away, and it said, "It's okay if you're not ready to come out yet."
You know, I've proudly dated men and women. I've wanted to be inclusive. There is a point where your inclusivity becomes a liability. So I have some videos on MAPS too, which I can share with you guys, but MAPS stands for Minor Attracted Persons. And yes, they've been trying to integrate themselves into the LGBTQ movement for a very long time. The ones that are blind to the narrative, they're just like, no, that'll never happen. Gay people aren't groomers. No, but the groomers are hiding behind the LGBT movement. They called people homophobes who were trying to investigate this.
Why is our society degraded into the point to where you can just throw an ad hominem at someone and the argument is more valid than the logic?
Or the facts, or the science.
When you look into Zulock, he has a crazy history anyway. He already had a case basically dropped where he intruded upon a 14-year-old and the case got dropped when it was all but proven that he did it, and now everyone on the case has retired. And so now they're having trouble even getting information on the fact that he did it. This guy is a straight-up criminal.
He was working at a grocery store or something and
stealing.
And stealing at the same time.
Ellie and I know, because of things that have happened regarding her ex that she's talked about, that these types of people like to do things like pay with gift cards. And what this guy was doing was he had manager access somehow, and he was buying and then writing off gift cards at Kroger, at the grocery store.
Yep, see?
Oh, and by the way, when they got the tip and they came in and they busted in the door, got them in the night, at night, came in the doors and got the kids, they found that there were secret rooms behind bookcases, like a la Metal Gear Solid Psycho Mantis.
He literally calls himself an activist. Love is love, guys. That's what the maps say. Even their families were suspicious of the whole thing. They are gay men who adopted two special needs boys, RAPED them, and sold their bodies for money, hurt them all the time. Those kids are messed up, man. They were already in the foster care system because their mother was a drug addict. They were already left behind. They were looking for a child that was special needs like that, so they couldn't fight back, you guys.
They bragged about how easy the background check was and how easy it was for them to get the kids. And then what happened within the time of them getting the boys and then them getting caught, they tried to go back to the original foster home, but it had been shut down because they were trying to get a girl to add to their family. That's the place he adopted from.
Like, for a long time, I thought, maybe I want to adopt a child, and I still might one day, and I kind of looked into it, and it is really hard, but it was easy for them. LGBT people, you need to be pissed off at this.
They went to Florida, and there have been two people that worked at Disney that are implicated in this too.
Where did they get the money to travel around? Oh, by selling their children, of course. I love Disney. I grew up in Florida, and I worked at Disney World. I love children. I always have. I've always worked with children. I don't know if you guys know this about me. My day job is working at theme parks. Protecting children has always been such an important thing for me, which is why it broke me so much when I found out that someone I had been with for 3 years was a fan of the playground, and he was exactly like this. Even after he was caught, he pulled the "oh, no one understands me" card.
And so many of us are the ones fighting this, but we're the ones that get the hate.
They just check all the boxes, right? Oh, whatever virtue signal we can do. Anything to keep the narrative alive so I can continue to be a freak.
This is a critique that Zulock had on an evangelist, basically where there's a Christian-run adoption organization, and he said that they would have rejected us from having children because we're gay, and that's taking our rights away.
You guys watching the stream right now who are LGBT, they don't care about you. They just used you in this paragraph right here. Do you get it? Does it make sense to you now? They have no empathy. They have no morals. They have no heart. They are empty, broken people and will do anything and everything to live out their own perverted agenda. And they will use your agenda to prop themselves up. They had a lot of money. They had $1 million home in Atlanta that they had custom built in record time. First it was the "you're a homophobe" card, and now it's the "you don't understand me" card. No, we don't understand you. Stick them in a room and leave them there. No food, no water. Unless you want them to use more state funding for, food and water. I've always cared deeply about the safety of children, and that will never change. Now as an adult, now that I know how a lot of like these systems work because I directly was affected by them, I will always stand up for truth, and I will always stand against this narrative that is trying to hide horrible, evil people like this. And people were watching this case for a long time, but you know how the system works, chat? Doesn't matter how much you know in your heart that something is wrong. It's harder than you might think to get a warrant about abuse on children. They are all equally dirtbags. It doesn't matter what gender they are. It doesn't matter what race they are. I'm getting flashbacks of Maxwell's trial here. This picture here is when, because there was a hit and run on their mailbox, and the kids hit their mailbox and ran away, and so the cops came, and they freaked the hell out, because they're like, oh God, the cops are here. And they said, thank God that the boys weren't playing outside. He said, my hashtag partner in crime. Yeah, they're so marginalized. Let me just fantasize about how cute the whole thing is. Let me just express this idealistic fantasy of this gay couple in my head, and they'll play right into it. These men chose boys with special needs so they couldn't fight back.
They could take care of them better than the system is. That's the argument they made.
We're not trying to exaggerate the story here. We're literally telling you that they used every trope they could.
Yeah, never mind his R-word charge that got dropped. Never mind the child R charge. Never mind. Nothing to see here. Move along. These are not the droids you're looking for.
3 years ago, our lives officially changed, and they got really rich after that, too. It hurts as someone who actually wants to have children. Yep, so this has been going on since November 7th, 2018. And before that, this guy had already had an RAPE charge on him. But somehow he still passed background checks. Tell me how. If you're listening to this and you're insulted, I want you to think of, it's not because they're gay. That's the thing. They're piggybacking on that. They're relying on that. And if you are in anywhere in your head trying to justify it because you feel like they're marginalized, that's the problem. And you need to re-educate yourself. The adoption process is moving along faster than we expected. It's disgusting. I hate it. People just do not have discernment. They just cannot tell who bad actors are. Because anyone who has hearts in their emails or smile emojis, and all you need to do is do the right hashtags, and you're a good person.
Somebody sending these messages to somebody and just completely selling them.
And look, he says here that he would have preferred to adopt a 2 or 3-year-old. The boys are 9 and 11. They were searching for a toddler. Because guess what? That'll make them more money in the long run. These maps, these freaks, they have age preferences.
Yep.
And now people are trying to normalize this trans age movement. And everyone is so narcissistic that they would rather virtue signal and try to be the good person on paper so they get more clout than actually stand up for something. And they'd rather just gaslight and be jerks to people like me. They'd rather stay mad on Twitter. Yep, gaslighting. Reform the foster care adoption process. We must do better, they'd say. All it takes is saying the right things on the internet, and you can be a monster in real life and get away with it. Please share this with everyone you know. DM your friends, DM your family. Everybody needs to see this. Please subscribe, like this video, share it if you can. I'll leave the link to the article down below. Share the article. It's not about me. It's about these kids. But I'm the one who's brave enough to talk about it. Thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats.
Yeah,
and you'll be hearing from us very soon.
Yep. Take care, everybody.
Take care.